you know, vilified for any of this. You know what I mean? I don't like that she didn't stand up for her sister when they were sitting on the sofa for the reunion. She should have done that, even if Kathy was wrong, if Kathy was dead wrong, and Rena freaking played it on her phone, Kathy's saying all this shit. If I were Kyle, I would have said, well, she was probably tired. She probably had too much to drink. She was stressed. I would still have her back, even if all that came out. But they don't have that relationship.
I agree with all of that. Like, and I'm not vilifying Kyle at all. I do agree. Like, look, here's an example. Like, I have, say friends, like you have your inner circle of friends. Sometimes you're just like, the other night I was out with these friends, whatever. And I was like, I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't like loving them. I was like, I've got so much work to do. Like, why did it look, I was mad at nobody but myself. I'm like, why did I agree to this? This is like, not this, whatever. But then like someone else, like there's a scuffle over a table, and then you jump to this inner circle's defense and you're like, fuck off. Cause that's how we do it in New York, KATHRYN. So then I jump up and I'm like, fuck you. Don't you speak to my friend like this. So it's the same thing. Like you're saying, I agree. Like, whatever it is, wrong or right, you might be pissed at your family. When it's on a public forum, you just stick up for this. So I'm not vilifying Kyle. It's just, to me, I agree, especially when these things, true or not, are so egregious. It's like we're claiming racism and homophobia, but there's a lot of things. This is the time, and you deal with whether it's true or not when you get home and shut
behind closed doors.
But these are really, really crazy allegations that are so detrimental to someone's reputation and character. You got it. That to me is, you speak up and you shut this shit down, and you put these two, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, in their place. And then you go home and you analyze, well, why did you say you hate me and this, and why are you using these words? Oh, you didn't use, you figure out what's true and not true tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
But you show a unified front when it's that to me was shocking. And who knows?
And you have to assume this is not the first time that Kyle has heard that Kathy wants to take her down. I'm sure when they opened up the agency, Kathy was probably trying. I mean, I think I heard that she was trying to make sure that didn't go.
Yeah, I think there might have, was there lawsuits or whatever? I think
so.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I heard that. That was a long time ago, and they got over it. They got past it. So you can't say like, oh, this is such shocking behavior. I've never heard this. I wouldn't have ever expected that my sister could say those things. I think that's in her arsenal. And so you deal with it behind closed, but Rena made sure that she knew, and that again, to me, I really put that in the same kind of category as what she did to Denise Richards. It's like, the Yolanda thing with the Munchausen, she knew that everyone in that community knew that Yolanda could, have little bouts, and she's talked about it, of like, being depressed or whatever it was. When you're really messing with real life issues, whether it's, mental health, addiction, sibling rivalry, and like families coming apart.
And infidelity in Denise's case, which
ruining a marriage.
Yes. It's the way she does it. Like when she sat there with Denise and she's like, oh, you're so angry. Like she does it in such, and that's when Denise, like the light went on and she was like,
oh, I get it.
Like this is who you are. Right. This is who you are. And like Denise couldn't believe it. Denise couldn't continue because she was like, I have to like break the fourth wall. Like we kind of agreed this wouldn't be. It was so layered that Denise couldn't even say anything, because she's like, anything I say is not going to be used on the show because it's like real life. It's almost like they talked about it and agreed it wouldn't come up on the show. And here Rena was doing exactly like, I'm ambushing you in front of the cameras. It's the same thing with Kathy, when she was like, Like it was just so, the way she did it was so smug and so
Like, I got you.
really,
I got
yeah.
you.
Like when
Yeah.
Kathy was like, you know, you ran LV, she was like, oh, I ran LVP off the show, and Erica laughs. Like it's so like, you know, it's just, it's a smugness when again, these are like really serious things. Like that's my thing of like,
Right.
if Kathy, which I agree, I don't think any of this was said, but if, let's just say all of this was said, she used all these bad words. I mean, I know your point is they're not really friends, but it's still just a life human being. You would pull Kyle, Kathy aside, because I know for a fact in New York and New Jersey, things have happened. And they're like, well, this ain't going to be on the show. Now, has these things come out on the show years later? Sure. Like I told you, like the Bill Aiden affair, and there's some other things where it's like, but they would say, like, we can't bring this up. Like if Rinna, this is your friend, or even just from a human like production of this, of like, this is so dark, this can't be part of the story. Right? I mean, that's what you do if you're making a show. Like just to your point about the Garcelle stuff and the bots, and if it is NBC, and you just, these things, I mean, I hate to break it to the people listening, like this is how things are hidden every day. It's just, this is how it, when it's so real, that's when it's hidden. So you would think Rinna would say like, Kyle, I just want to let you know, and of course we would never do this to your sister on national platform, right? It's so evil.
So evil. That's how, I mean, and that for me is sad. And that for me makes it difficult to watch, and where I really say to myself, geez, I'm right now I'm learning 2 new languages, and I think I that's an hour that I could have spent learning something. And I don't walk away from it. I walk away from it sad. Like I walk away thinking, this is so freaking sad that this is what's on TV. And what you said was the guy from Sex and the City that you had on that said he blames housewives, and what was the other show?
Mario Cantone from Sex and the City.
Oh yeah, in Kardashians.
Kardashians.
On the fall of television.
All I did was ask him, I said, you know, are you a Housewives fan? And did you watch, like, are you a reality TV fan, Housewives? My question was very innocent. You could have said, no, I just don't have, just what you said. I don't have the time for that. His question could have answered anyway. Instead, he out of nowhere, he's like, no, and I actually think it's what ruined TV. And he kept going. And I was like, okay.
I know other people that are real actors and real producers and movie makers that feel the same way about it. And I don't know. I mean, listen, you're giving the people clearly what they want. And everyone has a choice of turning on the television and watching this stuff or not, you know? And here I am. I mean, I watched it, even though I can say like, oh, I'm learning 2 languages right now. I still chose to turn it on. And I'm sitting here right now, you know, shooting the shit with you over it, because for me, it's more of, I think, a pop culture thing where I kind of, I do find it really intriguing. And there's a part where